Sweet potatoes and kale are two particular vegetables with an insane amount of nutrition. And you could even call them most probably, one of the healthiest, not even one since it's two. So basically two of the healthiest vegetables in the world. So in this video, I'm going to be teaching you a sweet potato kale tortilla recipe. Coming right up. So hey y'all, Aman here, you're watching Heart Limits, channel that talks about everything heart related. Now let's just jump straight into this, alright? So the things that we're gonna be needing to make this sweet potato kale tortilla, so obviously we're gonna need sweet potatoes. So have at least, 2 pieces, which should be more or less more than good enough. We're gonna be needing at least 1 avocado. We're gonna be needing around 500 grams of kale. Now, to be honest, it's better if it's fresh. The problem is in Germany, it's not that easy to actually buy fresh kale. So for that reason, I just bought a refrigerated one, and this is actually 1,000 grams, but I'll just be using half of it. So we need basically 500 grams of kale, right? And then to add more texture to our tortilla, we're gonna be using an old El Paso refried beans. Now, this is not a paid ad or anything by old El Paso. It's just that I like the taste of their beans, and it's surprisingly pretty good, especially with this type of dish that we're gonna be making. And of course, since it's a tortilla, you're obviously gonna be needing some tortillas. So once again, it's an old El Paso. But this is about what? It's a super soft, made with flour, and it's about 6 pieces, right? And for the sauce, once we've prepared everything, we're gonna be putting a salad dressing, which is yogurt salad dressing. And we're also gonna be using the amazing sriracha hot sauce, which basically makes this whole thing just taste amazing. So let's jump into what we need to start with first. So step 1 is actually preheating our oven, and that is mainly because the sweet potatoes are the ones that will take the longest of time to cook. And for us to even speed up the process, our objective is actually to cut it into small cubes, right? So first of all, we're gonna preheat our oven at least 170 degrees, right? So we're gonna put that at 170. And now let's get into chopping up, or rather dicing up, our sweet potatoes. So first of all, of course, don't forget that you should first rinse your sweet potatoes. And the cool thing is the skin actually has quite an interesting amount of nutrition. So it's better if you actually keep the skin. So try to wash it as well as you can, right? So now let's get into chopping this up into cubes, right? So after dicing up our sweet potatoes, to make things easier, let's pop it in a Ziploc, right? And what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some salt and pepper. So pepper. And now we're gonna put some salt. And we're gonna have to put at least 1 teaspoon, just 1 teaspoon of olive oil. And now we're gonna seal this bag, and basically we're just gonna mix it up, shake it all up together. So now we're gonna put it in a baking pan, right? And there you have it. So now we're gonna pop this in the oven and let it cook for about 25 minutes with the oven that we basically started to preheat at 170 degrees, right? So let's do this. We're gonna have to cook it for 25 minutes, all right? 25 minutes. Now the next thing we need to prepare is the kale. So for us to cook at least 500 grams of kale, we need at least 700 ml of water. So now we're gonna have to heat this up on high heat, and let's get into this. So let's heat this up. And just so that the kale has a bit more flavor, let's put a dash of salt, alright? Just a bit. And just to make the kale more flavorful. So we're gonna put in the kale when the water starts boiling, alright? So let's just wait for that. It's just gonna take a while. So while waiting for that water to eventually boil, let's actually just take out our refried beans. Let's put it in a bowl. There we are. And now let's just slice up our avocado, alright? So, avocado. There you have your avocado in a bowl. So there, it's now starting to boil, right? So now let's take out our pack of kale, which is basically frozen kale. And now we're gonna have to pop in at least half of this bag, since this is technically 1,000 grams. So more or less about 15 cubes, right? Now we let that cook for about 15 minutes. So in total, yeah, it should more or less be about the same time it's gonna finish. So we're gonna see how this all turns out, right? And so now it's 15 minutes later, and now we're gonna have to take out our kale. As you can see, it's pretty, right? Okay, so now we're gonna have to drain it. So that's our kale, and now we're gonna have to take out our, oh, this is hard to do with one hand, right? Safety first. Ta-da! So now we're gonna have to take out our sweet potatoes. Woo, the heat! So more or less it's gonna look like this, alright? So there you have your sweet potatoes. And now let's put the kale right here. So there's our kale. So with our oven that's still quite hot, for now, let's just cook at least 2 tortillas, alright? So first one, with the same heat in the oven, 170 degrees. Just pop it in. Leave it there for about 30 seconds. Now the next thing we also need to do is we need to heat our beans, right? So we're gonna pop it into the microwave. Wait, there's only one socket. Now this is gonna be a catastrophe, a disaster. So I have to, oh great. I have to plug it out, plug this in. Oh, there's a little light. So we're gonna put it inside and we're gonna heat it for about 1.5 minutes. Alright, 1.5 minutes. So it looks like this, guys. So you have your beans, you have your kale, you have your sweet potato, you have your avocado and your tortilla. And now let's make one. So to make one, it's pretty easy. Start with 1 tortilla, okay? Let's fold it into 2 so we know where the midline technically is. Now we're gonna put some kale. Now after the kale, let's put some sweet potatoes. Now some beans, some avocado, some yogurt sauce, and some sriracha. And there you have the amazing tortilla. So now let's taste test this thing. So of course you're supposed to close it technically. Amazing. It's like an explosion of flavor in your mouth. So, once again, Aman here. You're watching Heart Limits. Now, kale and sweet potatoes are amazing vegetables. And in the future, I'm going to be posting more videos that has to do with these ingredients.
So at least you have one thing that you can do with it right now. Alright? So once again, see ya.